Newer star. I'm gonna do, yes, I want to do some recording, so maybe I'll practice that today. I was gonna do some practicing on the Newer Star song. I've been writing a few other songs and got these other few tunes in my head. So yeah, that's wonderful. How is everybody doing? Did everybody have a great weekend? I think it was a long weekend for everybody too. So welcome, welcome. My name is Celeste, aka Joanna. Moving through, closing out of a lot of old timelines and old energies. I know that a lot of people have been feeling the shifts. I did a little drawing yesterday of this little shift that we've been going through. So this is Gaia and the planet, and there's energies that are moving off to the lower experiences, because remember, we're in a triad of universes, so we're in a multiverse. So there's always going to be a shifting off of the lowest realms and the lowest sheaths. So those go off to the lower realms, and then the higher realms are allowed to move up, but it's been a cleansing of a lot of the lower sheaths. And this is why that we've all been feeling kind of this movement of energy that we're just having to get used to. So it's just a new energy influx that we're having to kind of renegotiate ourselves with and catch our bearings. So when these types of shifts occur, and there's going to be those big purges of energy, big purges of releasing and having the rebalancing, it's all about balance. And because things have been so out of balance due to the amount of corruption on our planet, a lot of these lower sheaths, like all of the Epstein experiences and stuff that refuse to heal and refuse to accept light, and come along for the ride, if you will, because you can't continue to live in Epstein Earth and still continue to ascend, because again, you can't play both sides. You have to be able to work with the energy and allow yourself and your systems enough time to transmute the pains and the damages of the 51%. So the 51% is this lower part of your sacred geometry that is you, in the subconscious, if you will. And every time you're doing your clearing on your ascension cycle, whatever comes up in your divine feminine masculine energies, you have more of cleansing and clearing of this lower sacred geometry, which then calls down the higher sacred geometry, which is the higher self, if you will, which then when these two click with each other, it becomes a beautiful Star of David. And that becomes, I tried to draw it, but it was way too complex. This little Star of David becomes one of the fractals on your dodecahedron. And then in the greater scheme of it, if you draw the dodecahedron in a spiral, it then becomes what you can see from a multidimensional perspective through the multiverse, if you can, or even the universe really, is what's called an Enneagram. And the Enneagram is the various fractals of how we move about incarnations within our body, various aspects of the soul. This is just my interpretation. Various aspects of the Enneagram are various aspects of the archetypes that we take on to develop our soul. And so we all know that part of the Tarot divinity's job is to allow us to see that through our soul's progression and through our spiritual journey, we do move through various archetypes. We move through the pages and then the nights and then all of these experiences, so that we're allowing our souls its growth, so that we're not staying at the page stage. We don't want to stay at the page. We want to move through these various experiences so that we can evolve through the stages of who we are as a being. And so everything why we're here is because of a spiritual journey. And so in the spiritual journey, we have these various fragments of our personalities, our soul, our psyche fragments that we've called it. The psyche fragments are what is left within the subconscious, and as you heal these, this part of you arises because you're clearing away the density. Your cells become lighter, your chakras become a bit lighter, they start to move and rotate at a faster pace. You start to take on light, because as you remove the density, you take on greater source light. In that, it is allowing you a better rotation of the collective energy, and the base minimum of the collective energy goes up, because each person that clears out density raises the collective consciousness. As it raises, all of these lower energies and these lower sheaths that we've already talked about in the toroidal of all that is this ascension for Gaia, all of the lowest toroidal sheaths of the lowest vibration have to be pulled out and therefore put back to source, and source renews that energy, source transmutes that energy, and then it comes back down into what we are offered as omnipresent light from source creator. And this is how it goes with even our experience, because as we show you, as we're moving about our own individual toroidal, and we clear and cleanse our chakras and we bring in the light from above, all these lower chakras are pulled out, it's moved back to source, it's transmuted, and that's what each of us do as alchemists. We do this in our own day. And so that's part of our daily ascension path, because just get to idea of micro, macro. It's all in the holographic experience. We are manifesting ourselves and transmuting all that we are as if we are a bubble of the universe within ourselves. how to accept what is right now, and how to be peaceful and at centeredness and mindfulness with what is right now, make peace with what is right now, let go and forgive, and all of those lower sheaths and those lower energies can be released from you multidimensionally, being your fields, your chakras, your skin, your density, the tissues, the organs, and all of those things are helping you release and alchemize. Because as you do, you're able to take on greater light, which means that your cells oscillate differently, your tissues move differently, your blood moves differently, your mind is more cleared, your fields are more cleared in your etheric space, your third eye, your all of the chakras that we work within. And then you're receiving information and you're receiving those down codes and you're receiving the light from the omnipresent. So that's why when you release the density, you're absolutely receiving more from the omnipresent light that's already in the field. And it gets updated every time someone does their clearing on their chakras. And it's good to know that all of the 51% that is your responsibility for transmuting the divine feminine, divine masculine energies, and it's all about sacred geometry, and it's all about the dodecahedron. So as this comes down and becomes the Star of David, this sacred geometry piece goes back into the dodecahedron, and it does cycle faster. All of these little ball points go into a fix. It's like a Rubik's Cube. You know, the very complex Rubik's Cubes where they're not just a cube space, it's they're different shapes. And so this Star of David, with all of the points that it belongs with, once the higher self is brought down to the lower self and it's completely harmonized, that's when it rotates in the toroidal and becomes an active light body. And that light body has its ability, and when we so desire, that will be when we're in 5D, this will become the fully activated Merkaba through which we can move in and about space within the fifth dimension. And we can move anywhere we want within the fifth dimension. We're going to go to the Pleiades, we can visit Sirius, we can do whatever we want. And this becomes the Merkaba traveling, vessel, if you will, because we've activated it to our highest consciousness to manifest from thought. And so we can do this, but we do have to know and we do have to understand why we have to be prepared, because a 3D mind doesn't think that this is possible. A 3D mind wouldn't even consider sacred geometry to be really what we exist within, and it is. So once this is an activated Star of David, all of these little points go back into it doesn't really go anywhere, but it just is in the dodecahedron, and those points become activated. So the points on the star activate these points on the star. So this is where everything within itself is always feeding in and out of itself, and it's manifesting back in and of itself, the activations in and of itself. Again, what part of consciousness are you understanding yourself at today as being the reflection of Mother, Father, God? And in that, who are you, what you exist within, what's going on within you? And today you've learned something new, that yes, your 51% is really in the subconscious. Many of you have been transmuting, so you're not at 51%, but we're just saying, in the totality for you to move into 5D, in the totality for your light body Merkaba to be activated, you must transmute 51%, bringing the higher self and the lower self into complete harmony, and it does click. And in this click, your higher self is responsible for this. You become a Star of David. And in this Star of David, it goes in the dodecahedron. Well, it doesn't go in, it's always been in there. But we're just giving you, if this was a piece unto itself, it's its own unique sacred geometry, which is you and your body right now. You are a sacred geometry piece that when activated, you fit within this whole sacred geometry of the dodecahedron, which is you. These points on the Star of David become activated, which means that you have activated your entirety of this dimensional experience of 5D. In this dimensional experience of 5D, it goes into the dodecahedron. I wish I had a drawing of it. I have to actually print it off and tape it, because the dodecahedron is so impossible to draw. And so the dodecahedron, this one star goes in that dodecahedron and then activates the other points on the other star. And then all of you within the dodecahedron, your oversoul family, the oversoul of oversouls, is all within that dodecahedron, which is also parts of you. And so that's really fun how I'm explaining, where I want every day to come away that when I offer these things, they're high vibrational Christed consciousness experiences about who are you, what you exist on, what's going on within you, and how we move about ascension in a very practical and easy, loving and honoring way. We want to bring forward the highest light vibrational teachings. When I get the money and the resources, I'm going to have all of my intellectual properties redone in higher illustrational competencies, because I'd like to see them all nice on flimsies and stuff. And then I'd like to see it on screen so I can teach it from like a bigger perspective. So it's really fun. So now we're seeing actual understandings of who we are, within the sacred geometry, and understanding why sacred geometry is so very important to us. Sacred geometry is held within all facets of life within the Creator's life. So Creator speaks life into life, and it's all sacred, beautiful, and real and true. And why it's important for us to pay attention to our chakras. Currently, right now, we're working with, did I write down the Earth Star chakra? So there is one more. Earth Star chakra. So right now we're working with 9 chakras. Earth Star chakra, but of course there's many more than that. We have chakras in our hands, we have chakras in our shoulders, like the touch points of the axonal line, which I posted on the YouTube channel. A lot of those touch points are actual chakras, and why there's acupuncturists, they work from those axonal lines, and again, that's how the energy flows. So if there is a blockage or something happening, then the flow of energy cannot get through to those axonal points, which helps us balance the whole entire body of who we are in the various spaces of we are within that sacred geometry. And so as healers, that's what we look at, as well as where are the wounds being held and where are the blockages that the energy is not flowing. The kundalini must flow, right? And so as you get moving and clearing out the lower chakras, your kundalini becomes activated, and that is, it does look like your DNA, and that kundalini starts at the very base of your spine and works its way up, all the way up to the soul star chakra. And it does get a bit painful. I had some activations last night in the middle of my back. And so they're also in the middle of my back. It's just part of those aspects of the sacred geometry that I teach in my master's class. And so I teach about the parts that are invisible and not known in the general public. And there are various points of how you take on Christ consciousness and how Christ consciousness feeds through you. There's various points that I don't talk about in public. I talk about it in my master's class. And so that was some of the activations that were going on last night. And it does inclusive with the Kundalini activations. And so when you've done clearing, then you get the beautiful Kundalini activations, you get the DNA activations, because it just further levels up what you've just cleared as density. And so this is why we've said every day in our video sessions, it's really important that you work on your daily ascension path work, because the light is going to continue bathing the frequencies of it's going to continue bathing us. The earth is going to continue shifting and changing her grids. Everything from above, below, and as within and without is changing the omnipresent code, the base minimum code of our consciousness collective, which means that we're having higher vibrational light that we are breathing in and we are breathing out, as within, so above. And we're working with the energies in all different ways, but it's actually a higher refined energy, which means that all of our skeletal systems and our respiratory systems, our urinary systems, our excretory systems, our reproductive systems, our immune systems, everything that works within the multidimensional bodies of us is being changed at a very rapid rate. And it's going to be very important for the next little while, which is a part of my ascension wisdoms and part of my channel today, was just make sure that some of the things that we're feeling, like the drogginess and not feeling like as if we're coming or going, that is those are paradigm and dimensional shifts, changes, where you're going to have to realign yourself within the new energy. And this happens frequently, and it's through your divine timing of how much you've cleared. Are you ready for that next shift? Are you ready for that next level up? Because the energies are going to be quite frequently new, and they're quite frequently from here on out. I'm feeling a lot of celestial energy, and so I'm really happy about that, because my celestials are my family. I haven't really felt like I've had a lot of earth family here, so I'm happy that I have my celestial family. And so part of this is to assure that the symptomologies that you might be feeling is, again, the grogginess, because your body is doing as much as it can. And so it's very important to, if you can, get off red meats or any meats that are really hard to digest, because your body has to work twice as hard for meat products. And then you're also taking on the energy of that meat. And so your body does have to maintain its cleansing of that if you are eating meat. And then again, lots of water-rich food, drinking lots of water as much as you can, and then getting into the oceans as much as you can, and just spending much time outside with Gaia and grounding as much as you can throughout the day through these big paradigm shifts. So as these lower sheaths are moved out and brought back down into the toroidal after Source clears and cleanses them, of course, because Source just doesn't put back, old energy back into the top. It does get alchemized by Source, because Source is the master alchemizer. He is the master, magician. And so we're then brought new energy, because each and every one of us are being shifted and moved in different timelines, different dimensions. And so just to let you know, this is a truth, just to let you know, there are some of us that do move within different universes, because we have that ability to move in and of the sheaths of dimensional frequency and information. We have enough information within us. We have enough vibrational flexibility and capability to move in and out of vibration. And based again on our DNA and where we are needed, our teams and our higher self will make that decision along with our soul's blueprint, Mother, Father, God, to say if we can go to that next version of the phase of our own unique blueprint. Everybody has a unique blueprint. Not everybody's blueprint is the same. So this is why I say these things with a caveat. Some of us that have abilities to go in and out of different universes based on where that Christ consciousness is needed, based on where the soul family of me is next needing my aspect of my fifth dimensional perspective. Because remember, I'm a dodecahedron, parts of the all. So if my soul family, my oversoul, all the higher aspects of me on that dodecahedron are moving in a certain way because Source is creating something that will have me move up into that dodecahedron, that placement, there's certain things and certain vibrational energies that I need to go and tap into and meet for this requirement to move into this new arena. So what I've been sensing and feeling, is it okay if I say this, Holy Spirit? They're saying hold off for a little while. So there's lots of things going on in the foreplay of the galactic energies. So they're wanting me to hold off for a little while. So just understand that there are not, again, everything is based on your soul's blueprint, why and how you're here, the gifts and skills and talents that each of you come with. Of course, the only way that you're going to activate that is by doing your individual, unique soul's healing every day. So by doing your healing, by doing your breath work, by doing your grounding, clearing out your chakras and working with your celestial teams and your higher self. If you're not connecting with your higher self and you're doing all the other stuff that we've been talking about, and again, we've offered the dangerous consequences, and we've offered the entropy, we've offered all of those things. So we're not going to talk about them anymore. Hello, beautiful. So we're just telling you that, of course, if you're aligning with the higher self and you're aligning with all that we're talking about, then you're going to be in alignment of your highest path. And of course, doing your affirmations every day to state that I am aligned with my highest path. I seek and I call in light. You know, your invitation of light, your seeking of light, your playing of light, your speaking of light, and all the things that you are as light being. That keeps you on the path of the light, and that keeps you protected by the heavens, and that keeps you in alignment of your chakras and your systems being updated and upgraded, and as well cleared and cleansed. But you have to do the work. You have to get in and you have to face what your triggers are, and you have to call in a new vibrational experience. You have to call in a new vibrational unified experience and harmonize those soul fragments, and then walk as a unified perspective of who you are now, making peace with the past and coming with a new unified experience right now. That's why our light wisdom teachings are so important, because it's not taught out in the collective. And so those that choose to want to move forward in the light ascension and move forward in eternal life, there are certain things that you have to do to actually call in union of those aspects that have been very fragmented. And there's reasons why they're fragmented. So again, the juiciest parts are looking at those triggers. What did I believe to be true about this divine feminine perspective or divine masculine perspective? And then make no mistake about it, the systems that we've just read off about the 13 systems or 12 systems that we have within our body systems, I'm going to name them again. They absolutely have to do with your chakra systems, and your chakra systems have to do with the internal systems. All of these systems together is what we've also created, and we've also been telling you is a part of your multidimensional systems. You have systems as a physical, biophysical experience that is threaded with source. What we have been missing in humanity and upon earth for the past 5,000 years is a truer connection and a truer harmonization with what spirit truly is and what God truly is. Because they've been very disconnected, low experiences of God, creator, source, spirit. So now in every day and every moment, seek spirit in all that you are and all that you do so that you can harmonize spirit back in the all that we are. Therefore becoming a full package of multidimensional light. You're taking on light, you understand that you're light, you're accepting that you're light. Again, your consciousness has just grown because the I am package of you, the smaller version of you, God presence, is now aware that yes, I am a grander version of me. I've just learned something new about myself. And now I'm not just a human, meat and muscle package. Now I've actually knowing that I'm a multidimensional experience, and part of me are quite complex, and why I need to work with myself in a new way. I need to work with my teams in a new way. Like how is my brain being prepared for 5-dimensional, unification? How do we create from so many of us having different languages and dialects and telepathy, which are when our celestial teams, they're going to be working as best they can from our experience, but they have a higher version and a higher escalation and a higher capacity for telepathy. They're very fast at their claircognizant, levels, and they can finish our sentences before we finish even asking the question, because they can read your thought processes, they can read the thoughts in your fields. And sometimes as I'm doing these sessions and these live sessions, which I'm going to do hopefully a live session at the end, because I do have a very short channel. I wanted to keep it short so I can do more messages. is just understanding that as we work in our higher light and we have that amalgamation from the lower self to the higher self becoming the Star of David, it spins in a toroidal, and all of our axional points begin to spin light, and they spark off again that dodecahedron. So then the all of us, the soul family of us, the oversoul family of us, begin to sparkle in different light, therefore affecting the multidimensionality, the biophysical aspects of us, and therefore increasing the light within our cells, within our blood, and all that we are. We therefore become a little bit more youthful, because it's carrying greater light, and it's carrying greater, they're saying ratios of Christ consciousness, and ratios of Christ consciousness are what brings life to life. That is God. God is life. And so we want to move forward with new affirmations we're going to say in every one of our videos, because we want you to grow under the bigger umbrella of Source Creator. So let's just open up our pillar of light, and we're just going to do some affirmations to just code our cells in our body, our biophysical, with our consciousness of the Christ, our Christ consciousness, our Metatronic light. We're going to call in our dodecahedron and just have it within your field, have it in and around you, because you're always within your dodecahedron. You're just playing this one specific soul aspect, this soul fragment, this soul personality. And as you come up with triggers, and as you come up with all these experiences of visions or dreams or things that you're moving through, any differences or any greed or selfish, the 7 sins that we usually work on is all parts of the discrimination we've held within the discrimination of divine feminine or divine masculine, and why we see them projected to us in the reality, and why the corruption of our reality is going to be healed in every one of us as we move through each and one of our triggers. Because the reality within our outer is just experiences of what we feel within. So as we feel within and we heal within, then we allow the outer to change. Therefore, thus then, again, you cannot be blessed if you're not working on your inner in love and compassion and forgiveness. That is the only way you'll move forward in higher vibrational experiences. You cannot move forward in higher vibrational experiences of ascension if you're still practicing all the dark, nasty stuff. Because you're not giving yourself self-love enough and self-confidence enough to drive yourself and steer yourself in new directions of self-love. And it's always within. Stay out of other people's lives, stay out of people's lanes, stay out of people's business, and focus on yourself, because there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And just to let you know, they wanted me to say one more thing about psychosis. Those that have not been practicing and doing their daily path work and looking at their integrations and their soul fragments, there's going to be many that will be seeing themselves and acting out in ways that is psychosis. And you can go look up what that means. That means that when the break of the person body and the psychology of the person body is not understanding and making sense of where it's at in its own reality, because the reality has shifted within its energy. And so if that person is not doing the transmuting, if that person is not anchoring in what's going on right now, then that person's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual experience and sexual experience cannot keep up with where the outer light is at. And this is why we said there does have to be a lower pulling off, because these beings cannot keep up with the light because they have not done the healing. Their cells cannot operate. And therefore, thus, then it becomes a psychotic break. It becomes a psychosis, which means they're not fitting into the light. And that's where we've said always before about these destiny swaps, and it's not understood. So now we're going to start seeing these things that we've been talking about for years and years and years. They're actually going to start showing itself in our reality. That if you're not working on integrating those lower vibrational fragments, you're going to see a lot of psychosis. And therefore, the hospitals are going to see a lot of psychosis. And so if the leaders were prepared, and if the leaders were truly seeking on the benevolence of the people, the leaders would have put forward light wisdoms and intelligent teachings so that everybody can begin to start practicing their light wisdoms. Everybody can start practicing the integration of their soul fragments, and so they can be reduced in the experience of psychosis. Psychosis can be healed and it can be moved through, but you do have to do the path work that's going to heal that part of the psychology, the psyche of it, the soul psyche of it, so that it feels harmonized and whole again. That psyche is just a breakage. It doesn't understand where it is, because the stories that fit now in this multidimensional vibration are not making sense. Because there's no more linearity. There's no more linearity. We're moving more and more into less linearity. And so this is where the energy and the omnipresent is offering a multidimensional vibration. It's like the only way that I can say it. It's like if you're a drink, and say you're like a rum and coke. And this rum and coke has its constituents. It's like an ounce of whatever it is, rum, and then the rest is coke. But if you were that drink itself, and that drink changed it, and maybe it changed the coke, and maybe it changed from an ounce of rum, it changed a little bit less than an ounce. The constituents of that energy now is completely different. The osmosis, the translucency, how it moves within itself, anything that's moving within that drink, it just feels a little bit different. It's a little bit off. That's when psychotic break happens, because it's knowing in itself, it doesn't feel right. Something feels a bit strange and weird. My constituents are changed. Same with us as a physical body. The constituents of the physical body saying, well, I am physical. I woke up today. It seems like a physical reality, Earth. But it's the psyche and the energy that's saying, hey, there's things that are different here. It's not making sense. The story of who I am is not making sense. And then you have the energies that are further bringing light, bringing out, wanting those darker energies to be pulled. But just pulling it is not enough, because then it's just the expression of the outbursts. So that's what psychosis is. The first part of psychosis is the realization of confusion. Second part of psychosis is there's going to be an outburst because it's not understanding itself. There's going to be confusion and anger and separation and all of those things. It's going to try and understand what's going on. It's going to want to grasp. No, I want to be where I used to be. I want to understand where I used to be, because the brain's trying to repeat, and the brain wants to fall back into ego. It wants to fall because that's where it felt safe. Sometimes in psychosis, these beings, and it's even more confusing and more dangerous, is when some of these beings have entity attachments on them. It gets more skewed and it gets more dangerous, because not only are they acting from an entity attachment from whatever demon they've taken on and offered into their body, but they're also acting from the most prominent or dominant psyche experience that person had in whatever lifetime was most recent, or most powerful in its dominance. And this is why sometimes when people are in psychosis, they do get very aggressive, because they're moving into, that's just how the soul works itself. It's preparing itself for fight or flight. So it will pull up a personality that has been very successful in other timelines, but sometimes maybe those other timelines were back in barbarian ages. Right? That personality is not necessarily okay here. And people start to see your personality is not fitting for what's going on, because other people are seeing their reality slightly change. It's slightly getting higher in vibration, but it doesn't match the personality that the person is showing, because it's pulled up a rather abusive, but it wasn't seen as abusive back in that timeline. To see, the dodecahedron will pull on whatever it needs to for it to feel safe. It will always put in its safety. But we're not educated enough in this world to understand what's going on. We're not educated enough to see what's truly going on and how that person needs to be healed. It will pull up the most prominent aspect of energy through which it felt safe. That's a psychotic break. So it needs to be brought back around, and this psyche personality needs to be put back down into the soul, and it needs to be healed for what it did for itself, but it needs to be put back so it can relax and rest and take its time to heal. Because it doesn't always need to act from this experience anymore, but the only reason why it did is because it was in fight or flight. It doesn't make sense. The reality doesn't make sense. I'm going to start to react. And it does burst out. It does get dangerous, as I've told the church and state, and I've told the leaders, but they're the ones that are choosing not to bring forward Light Wisdom's healings. These become extra dangerous when they have entity attachments, which most of the beings that are working in the underground, black market, black web, those of you that work in trafficking and are debaucherous with your sex life and debaucherous with your life force, there's most likely entity attachments in which there's demons and there's energies that are working on behalf for you to constantly feed that demon. Then it becomes even more so, because not only is this demon trying to control the mind, if you will, for it to seek what it needs to seek, that feeding of light, that's feeding of debaucherous, whether it's jealousy or envy, and it'll start to stir up drama, it'll start to stir up chaos to feed whatever that demon is, whether it's demon of jealousy, demon of selfishness, demon of gluttony, and it'll start to stir up trouble and drama. These are the people that are not healed, and they're working from entity attachments, and they are like little demons until these demons are healed and detached. You cannot get rid of the demon until you detach it. You have to give it permission to go away, but you have to accept the lesson first. So everything has to be healed. Then not only that, there's working on that fight or flight personality that comes up to save it in this fight or flight experience. And so there's a lot, it's very complex, and we need higher vibrational teaching. Psychiatrics, counselors, and psychologists, we need to get together and we need to vibrate at a higher frequency, and we need to put all of these things on the table and really review it from a higher perspective and come up with some new research. So the people that are going through these experiences through cults and covens, and they've agreed to let themselves come out of the cult and coven experience, they can be very helpful for the collective to put themselves and start these experiences of research, because we're going to have to use this research to then present it to the courts and the cases through the highest courts of Canada and the highest courts of the US and the highest courts of, whatever country you live within, and then start having these court cases move forward if there was shadow government involved, through the incitation of MK Ultra and dismantling of the human experience and the psyche, because that's what MK Ultra does. It dismantles the human psyche so that it can be higher controlled. any Stargate programs or anything like that, any government programs that was a part of these cults and covens in their behaviors and in their mind control and in their mind scraping. And then we need research so that we can start creating support and aid and proper healing and proper, in view of what's really going on, because it's just viewed at a very topical experience and given topical drugs and synthetic drugs, which makes it even worse. Because you can't really get to the problem if synthetic drugs are mapping and veiling everything and you're not getting a true conversation when you're actually counseling with these people, because the synthetic drugs are shutting everything off and down. It's just a circle of nothing, and these people never get healed. We need to understand who we are at a higher level. And light wisdom teachings are the only way to do this. The only way forward is healing, and to understand who we are as a soul, as the dodecahedron, as the holographic version of Source Creator. We are dynamic, incredible beings of light. We have to understand it at a higher level. And knowing that when you have those triggers and things don't make sense, we're in a new paradigm of light, and just give things a little bit while and just stay grounded and do your breath work and allow everything to work itself out while you just continually heal and clear what needs to be healed and cleared. Because sometimes, like right now, we have gone through a big shift. And many of us have been shifted into different, as we said again, some of us do know how to move in and out of different universes, and those are even bigger shifts. But we have the experience within our DNA, we have the experience within our codes to move within them quite frequently. It doesn't feel comfortable. So my teams prepare me for when I'm doing that, and then they give me a few days, it's about 8 days altogether, to prepare before and after of when my body is shifting. And so we've just gone through another shift, but that's how it feels. And then obviously the crown chakra feels a bit different. So just make sure you're giving yourself extra downtime. Reduce what you're doing in your life. If you live a life where you're constantly going nonstop, people will start changing their lifestyle. Again, as we've said, ascension and awakening helps you relook at your life and helps you look at how you're being nourished. Do you need a different type of job? Are you aligning to a 5D vocation? So I do have 5D vocational alignment sessions, because you're not going to behave the same as a 5D as you are a 3D. You're not going to fill your days with appointments. You're just not. A higher vibrational being is going to be having much more time outside. As I said before, our movement forward into the collective, new collective energies for New Earth Star, because it's going to be a higher creative experience, because it's going to be the hybrid energies of our DNA is going to come out and play, which means that it's going to be very eclectic, very diverse, and hybridized. So we're going to be having a lot of our education and our light wisdoms to be philosophically based, because it stirs up the soul in and of itself. It stirs the soul dodecahedron. It stirs the belly of the soul, right? And as we said in our last video, the belly of the soul is imagination and inspiration. That's where we should be starting every day, is the imagination and the inspiration of Source Creator. And in that, all touch points of our dodecahedron get touched, because that's exciting. What do we need to do today, Source? Wow. It shouldn't be going into class and learning about a boring thing about 1822. Well, let's get into the dodecahedron. If that 1822 comes in, that's fine. But maybe that child didn't have anything to do, or doesn't have anything to do with that part of social studies. Maybe that child is meant to learn about the oceans. So again, our teaching and our way we're going to offer information and wisdoms to the children, we're going to offer it in such a different way. It's going to be philosophically based, so that we can always take a look at who are we, what do we exist within, and what's going on within us at any given time. Because the collective is going to be shifting us and bringing us juices that's going to inspire us at a much higher quantitative and qualitative experience intellectually. So we can't be learning the things that we learned back in school for our day. Why would our children be doing that? They're far more advanced than we are. They should be learning at a higher intellectual state, and that is light. Light is the highest intelligence. That's where we should be teaching every day. Light advances our bodies, light advances our systems, light advances the intellect within the various aspects of who we are, within the soul perspective, the soul version, and the psyche of who we are. The psyche is how we get to the higher consciousness. Higher consciousness is everything. Consciousness affects the brain. Consciousness is not held in the brain. Consciousness is the tool. The brain is the tool how we navigate consciousness. And as consciousness rises, the perspective of who I am with God and the outer God, and who I am with God to the outer God, who I am to the outer omnipresence, who I am to the outer everything, that is our experience of the exploration of the psyche, of the total psyche. My total dodecahedron, I know it's huge. There's a whole bunch of parts I don't know about. But in this part, boy, oh boy, I can feel things shifting and I can feel things getting goosebumpily. I can see my vibration changing. I had a bit of psychosis this morning, but I grounded and I did some healing practices. So now I'm just going to take it slow. I'm going to move some things in my schedule. I'm going to move that off. I'm going to move that off. I really want to pay attention to my healing. And this is how we move apart 5D exploration and experience and expression. We have to give ourselves greater time to express ourselves in higher intelligence. And we have to know, what does that higher intelligence look like? Well, it's going to be absolutely activating the belly of our who we are, the imagination of source, which has been left out for 5,000 years. They've been slowly and slowly plucking creativity out from us. That is who we are. We are spirit. We are in spirit. It's in the Creator's name, the Creator. The Creator inspires. The Creator creates. The Creator inspires all life. The Creator is life. Life is the Creator and Creator is life. Why have we been missing it? In all creation, light is the movement of all that is the Creator. Light moves the Creator into motion. Light moves the Creator in that E equals MC squared. So how do we activate E equals MC squared? By focusing on our vibration, our emotions. Well, I feel really happy. This is a happy moment, isn't it? I feel all happy and I want to get you happy and I raise my vibration. E equals MC squared. I've just raised the vibration of the group. And so in these experiences of energetic shifts and dimensional shifts, dear lighted ones, look to those, as I said to my clients a long time ago, just put a list of 5 things that really are your 5 things that you get really high and you get really activated by quick little things that you can do. Getting up and doing jumping jacks, getting up and doing, I do squats all the time because it keeps my energy going, it keeps my body moving and my muscles going. If I'm doing lots of writing, then I'll do, I'll just do leg lifts and I'll do squats with my tummy. I've just got my body moving so that the energy is moving and there's no stagnancy. And then I'll go out for a walk and I'll connect with Gaia and I'll do some meditation. So write yourself a list of 5 things that you can do that get you up and feeling happy. Take a break throughout the day and listen to music that really makes you feel happy and you want to dance. Do some singing, maybe go out and have a jump in the pool, whatever makes you feel happy, and go and work in the garden or pet your pets and play with your children. All of those things are ways that you connect to having that relationship with spirit. And that gets your vibration, it keeps you aligned with spirit. Because again, we want to bring forward these new vibrational light intelligences, which means we are now harmonizing all of our life with light. And what is light? It's spirit. Spirit is all things. So we want to reharmonize all that we are with spirit. Call spirit into everything that you do every day. As you're harmonizing with spirit, you find that everything that was starts to drop off. Because as you're harmonizing with spirit, you would never do and act and behave in the way that we have. Our animals would never be abused, our children would never be abused, and our children certainly would never be trafficked. Because we care about who we are. We love ourselves enough to know, no, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to figure out these triggers. I'm going to figure out why I always feel jealous. I'm going to figure out why I feel hatred. I'm going to figure out why I feel the way I do. Care enough about yourself to feel and figure out why you feel the way you feel. And if there's things that you can't answer, then you go to a vibrational healer or you go to a channel that they can look into the Akash and they can say, these are where some of these stories are coming from, so start with healing the story. You go into that story and you heal it, and then you rewrite it. And that's healing at a multidimensional level, because you're now recognizing that you are a multidimensional being. You're not only healing things from this timeline, but other timelines, and the psyche is showing you this part of your psyche needs to be healed. And it is dealt with ostracization. It's dealt with your self-value. It's dealt with things that you're going to need that are going to be intact because they're going to want to put you in the public, because you are someone that has great oration skills. You are someone that has great singing and great creative skills. And there will be a point where the spirit and the source and the God of you, the source God of you, mother, father God of you, source creator of you, the all one, the great one, all that is, wants to place you in front of the public because you activate people to go there. It's okay going there. Go there. Go there often. It's okay, you're safe. It's always you. There's only you and Source. Source loves you so much so that you can go into any vibration and stay there as long as you want. There are places in which, and there are times in which, and there are statements in which it might not serve you to stay in wallowing. Say that you've made a mistake and try and move on as quickly as you can. Feel the emotion for what it gives you and it offers you and it teaches you, but don't stay there and wallow there. Because wallowing never serves you, but just to bring your cells down and to bring your energy down. Then you've got to get that list of 5 things that gets back up again, because that's when you access the light. You want to keep training your body and training your body and training your mind and training all that you are to create that greater light and work with that greater light. Harmonize that light with you every day. And as you do, you'll find that your body starts to feel differently. You'll be more connected with your life force. And what does that mean? As you've been working with your lower chakras, that means your root chakra and your sacral chakra. That means you're going to have more clarity. You're going to even feel your vibrations of your lower chakras, and you can't even have Kundalini awakenings when you're working with intention to clear your lower two chakras. And I've always said to my clients, work with 2 chakras a week. Don't work with any more. There are some people that the ego takes over again, and they work with all their chakras. I wouldn't suggest that at all. At all. No master would ever tell you to do that. You can do a bathing of your chakras in the morning as a bathing and a quick cleansing. But if you're going to work with a chakra, work with 1 or 2 maximum at a time per week. And then do your journaling, do your path work. I'm calling up any wounds or any injuries or any triggers that need to come up. I know that I've been working with safety issues. I've been working with abundance issues. Can you help me pull this out? And then you get out your journal and you write abundance and safety. And then you put down your 2 chakras. And then you do your breath work and you call spirit in. Take a deep breath. Open up your pillar of light. Chiamaka. See my full body breath. Breathe in light. Breathe in crystalline light. Crystalline light. See-through, transparent. See-through, transparent. See-through, transparent golden light. And your healing teams are standing beside you. Mother Mary, the angels, the angelics, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Lord Sananda. And if you're in your chair, you can sing and you can chant. Clear your fields. Sound does it. Sound does it. Breathe in crystalline light. I seek crystalline light. I seek crystalline light. I am crystalline light. I call in crystalline light. I call in crystalline light. And see yourself being bathed with golden white light. Golden white light. Your chakras are open. Golden white light. Chakras are open, golden white light. Your heart is open, your heart is open. We're going to go to the lower chakra. See a red transparent red chakra spiraling. Bathe it with holy light, bathe it with holy light. See it spin in red transparency. See it spin with red transparency. And we're going to call up anything that has to do with safety and abundance, with feeling that you're grounded on this earth, no matter what body you carry, no matter what you're going through as far as gender or sexuality issues or questions or exclamations in your expansion. Everything will trigger your expansion. Everything is growth. So celebrate it all. Celebrate it all. Don't judge it. And then you center within your heart, in the highest and the best. I'm calling forward my higher self. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm calling forward for my healing teams of all the beings that are listening now in future now moments. We call in our higher selves. We call in our healing teams. We call in our celestials. We call in the higher self of who we are. And in my healing today, we're looking at the first 2 chakras, chakra 1 and 2, the root chakra and the sacral, the red and the orange. And we're calling any triggers or any issues that would like to come forward naturally in the natural order. There's no forcing, there's no making. It's just natural love, natural breath, natural healing. The light will do it. The light will do it. When you trust the light, you trust Source Creator. You're building a relationship with Source Creator and your higher self. Your higher self knows what to do. You're now engaging in a relationship and vibration. You want to feel the vibration of love in your root chakra. Vibration of love, vibration of love. Feel the vibration. Invite vibration of love into your chakras. Feel the love into your chakras. Feel love. Invite love. Feel and see your chakras spinning in love, crystalline love. In love, crystalline love. In love, you care about your body. You care about your body, and you care about the blood and the tissues, and you're bringing youthfulness. You're bringing sweetness and care and the sacred child that used to dance around. That's why children are most often than not, when they're left to their own devices, are so very healthy. Because they just want to sing and dance and explore. And when did you leave that? And where did you leave it? And why? The 3 E's are so important to the sacred child, dear lighted ones. Let's bring the 3 E's into the root chakra. May the root chakra open in its beautiful, pristine, crystalline red, transparent red color. We can see through this red, and it's a little disc, and it spirals around your pillar of light. And it's beautiful, crystalline, and it's red. And then we look up just slightly, and there is a transparent tangerine orange. And they're both see-through. You can see through them, and if there's any densities, if there's any fog or darkness, then call it forward. And we're going to bathe them with crystalline light. We're going to have our teams help us bathe Christed light into those chakras. We're going to open them both because we love the chakras. We love ourselves to feel grounded and safe. We love ourselves to be sexually respected. Our life force is to be respected. Our life force is our beautiful essence of who we are. It's to be valued. It's how we manifest. It's how we create. It's how we feel pleasure of being physical. It's how we share ourselves with each other when we're in love. And we want to share the life force of the mother and the father to create and to manifest beautiful lovemaking and beautiful togetherness and beautiful unity and beautiful self-pleasuring and beautiful creativity for all of our artistic creative measures. And this is why we pay attention to our chakras all at once, because we can feel grounded and abundant. We can feel creative and sexy. We can feel beautiful in our feminine or our masculine. And we can create beautiful artworks, and we can feel abundant within it all. And say affirmations. I am creatively abundant in all moments. I am divine and I am sacred. Crystalline light pours upon my chakras. Orange, tangerine, crystalline, transparent. Bathe it with light, bathe it with love. Anything that comes up is meant to come up. I am a master. I can heal. I am alchemy. Ishiyanayamaya. Feel the energies come up from the root and the sacral. Take Kamanake, only light and only benevolence will ever touch your root and your sacral. And there are those of you that do have some attachments, and you do have some little wormy-like things on these chakras. And you need to take your time personally, and you need to pull them out, and you need to look at them. Why are they there? Did you give your power away of feeling safety? Who are you giving your safety to? Who are you giving your groundedness to? Your safety belongs to you. Take a deep breath. I am safe and I am grounded. I am in full capacity of my body. In heart, mind, body, and soul, I ground in who I am. I know who I am. I am that I am. I am safe with Source Creator. I am safe in this new body, heart, mind, and soul. I am safe in all that I am. My sexuality is safe. I get to choose what I want to express with whom I want to express. I get to choose who I share my life force with, and nobody shall change that. Not mind scraping, not mind control, nothing. I know who I am, I know my sexuality, and this is what I choose to express and experience right now. And claim those energies of wherever you are sitting in your pathwork of who you are. Give your soul its fullest expression to be who you are. Don't judge it. Be honoring with your chakras, dear lighted ones. This is how you get those beautiful, magnificent energies that you just know something today that you didn't yesterday, because you're honoring your chakras. You're allowing that wisdom and information to come forward because you're now loving them. You're building a relationship and an alignment with them. You're building it with relationship of vibration and information. I'm sending loving information to my chakras. My chakras know that I have their back. And they're going to provide me every single time there's something to be activated. I'm loving them in common respect, equal measure. Everything is holographic, equal measure. This is why you go through life from here on out. Equal measure should be your highest statement of affirming to yourself, to creation. In equal measure, the universe will respond to me. In equal measure, my chakras will respond to me. In equal measure, I will have all that is before me in equal measure. Everything is equal measure. Therefore, if I'm a dick, then that's what's going to be responded to me. Or if I'm a biatch, that's what's going to be responded to me in equal measure. This is the universal rules, dear lighted ones. So let's pour love and light into our chakra fields. Let's bathe ourselves with love and light, crystalline rainbow light. Anything that comes forward from your chakras, you'll see them and you'll feel them in synchronicities and stories that play out in your reality. Then go home and do your path work and write out what you've experienced. And then you can express yourself anew and you can explore yourself with higher aptitude and capacity. We're teaching you how to be higher intelligence, delighted ones. Everything in your reality is because you've cleared out these chakras and you're caring for it. You're sending out new emanations from your wholeness, and those two chakras are now a higher vibration than they were before you got on this call. Because you're showing it that it matters. And when you show that it matters, you walk with matter. It matters how you play. And when it matters how you play, you're going to have higher resonance return to you. That's just the omnipresent code. All that I am returns to me in equal measure. All that I am returns to me in equal measure. Therefore, am I love? All that I am returns to me. Am I open? Am I transparent? Am I truthful? Am I vulnerable? Am I honest in my conversation? Am I loving to my body? All that I am returns to me. All that I am returns to me. I am love, I am love, I am love. I am love. Se amakata ke e se namakata te ke e se ma e ana ke te ke e se ama aya te ke se anaka a. And we want to ground these new codes and ground your chakras and just have your chakras rotate at a half open space. You don't want your chakras fully open, just half open. Just close it, say 50% to my root chakra, 50% to my sacral. You don't want your chakras open all the time. You just don't. So do 50% when you're walking about your day. Have them open fully when you're doing your healing work. And then close them down to 50 when you're walking about meeting with other people. You don't want to take on their energies. And now feel the white pillar of light, white pillar of light. Your body should be filled with goosebumps by now. And just ground, feel your body ground. And just say intention, I am grounding myself into the new Earth Star grids. I'm grounding myself into new Earth Star happiness. I'm grounding myself into new Earth Star grids. I'm grounding myself into new Earth planet. I'm grounding myself into new Earth Gaia. Anything that allows you to say your new Earth grid lines. The old realities are now gone. You're ritualizing yourself into new energy. Because you can, because you are. You're the sovereign master of your own vibration. It's up to you now, dear light. Once we're simply teaching you how to be new sovereign beings of the Christ. Take honor in your body and hold yourself up high, dear lighted ones. You and God, equal measure, step for step. You're seeking that relationship with Source Creator. You're seeking that relationship with all that is Spirit. And it will show it to you. We're right here with you, dear lighted ones. Every step we are right here with you. So they're just showing me this beautiful little vibrational, this vibrational mouth that is at the solar plexus, and we're walking along the planet. And this little mouth that is in this vibrational field of, looks like quasi-physical field of juice and light and quasi-physical vibration membranes. It just looks like fluid osmosis light, if you will. And it's just walking around, and I see it spiraling around my solar plexus saying, you know, we've got you. Every step you have, we got you. We're with you. Every step we're with you. Spirit's with you every step. You know that. So just, you'll have these visualizations that mean something for you. And you'll have little beings with you, and you'll have your spirit guides, and you'll have your angels with you. And they always speak with loving intentions of, you can do it, you can do it. If it's anything demonic or hateful, or demonic to hurt people, or demonic to get things, or anything like that, those are the lower vibrational entities that are speaking through you. And you need to heal those and ask them to leave. And then cut cords and do a cord cutting ritual. And reclaim your power, and reclaim your light. But you must state the lesson that you've learned by giving that power away in the first place. You must learn the lesson, otherwise that entity will stay there. Give that entity permission to leave, and then say, I've got the permission of this entity to leave, Spirit, because I know I hold myself in higher value now. That entity is no longer to take from me. I've learned the lesson of greed. I've learned the lesson of jealousy. And when you learn the lessons of these, then you're going to give back the monies that you're owing people. You're going to do right in the things that you've done wrong to people, when you've taken them off course and you've wasted their time, or you've hurt people that you shouldn't have hurt. Whether it be a debauchery or a sexual deprivation. You have to make right on these. That's how you get these demons to leave you. That's how you improve the health of your body. Because these demons are eating the life from you inside out. These are attachments. Because you've called it in. Because you've worked with your life force incorrectly. You've worked with your life force disrespectfully. You haven't given notification if you have an infection. And you've just allowed your life force, and you've allowed your body to be utterly disregarded in every way. And then you've impaled it on other people. You have to learn the lessons and say, no, I want my body to be healthy. I want to move in a higher vibration now. So now I'm going to look at this. Look at all the things that had me in this low vibrational experience of using my life force disrespectfully, and look at that one issue all week and heal that issue all week. Focus, intend on it. I will heal this issue if I have. There's nothing left I can do about it, because you want that energy and that STD or that STI to leave your body. This is how you heal, dear lighted ones. But I'll tell you this right now, and this is a truth. You will not heal that STD if you continually behaving and acting in the same way you always have. So doing the healing once isn't going to heal it. You need to know throughout all that you are, thought, word, and deed in every cell within your body as my name is. There will be no such energy attached to my body because my cells are vibrating too high. It will never come back because I love myself. I will never disregard my life force again. Because from here on out, dear lighted ones, when you're moving into union and when you're moving into important partnerships where you're going to help creation in all the glorious, magnificent, creative ways, you're going to be sent every temptation. And those little devils and the people that are working on the negative side of things, they know exactly what gets you. The temptation of gluttony, the temptation of money, the temptation of shiny things, the temptation of having a great body, the temptation of sex, the temptation of feeding your ego, whatever the temptation is. And you're going to have women go at you and you're going to have men go at you, and it's going to be up to you to discern. Because even that one experience, and you allow that temptation to take over, or maybe you're at a party and they put something in your drink. So this is where you have to truly be aware and awake. Because these experiences at this point in time, at this point of ascension, in this very important pivot of ascension, everything and everything matters. And if you're not paying attention to your drinks, and if you're not paying attention to who you're with and who are you around these people, and you're not paying attention to the energies coming and going, then these things do take place and they can throw your entire destiny off path. And then you can have entity attachments that will suck the life out of you, and it doesn't matter how hard you work, and it doesn't matter how hard you save. These people will suck every penny if they had to. And the only way that will save you is by working with the Alliance of Light and having God and your ancestors cut these people off. That's exactly what's been done to me. And I didn't sleep around. I didn't choose any ways of those. That life was not my life choice. But these people enforced themselves upon every part of me, and they didn't have any right. They wanted to own me left, right, and center. They wanted to own me through everything that I was. Because this is what happened in other lifetimes, and they got a lot of manifestations off me, they got a lot of light off me, and they survived off of me. And now this is why everybody is moving into their own demise, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and sexually, because they are not touching my light. My light is off limits to everybody that's been harvesting off me and using me and abusing me and not giving me anything for it. Signing contracts on my behalf, taking my work that they had no right to take. Nobody's ever been given permission. Nobody's ever signed anything. I've never signed anything. I've never been in any interviews. Nobody's given me anything to sign for me to approve any testing. Nobody's given me anything to sign that I've said I agreed to anything. I've given my permissions to nobody. Nobody's allowed to touch me. Nobody's allowed to harvest from me. Nobody's allowed to touch my light. Nobody's allowed to even say my name. Unless it's for a cloud of prowlers that Mother, Father, Source are creating with you. Nobody's allowed to talk about me. Unless you're saying, I'm absolutely recommending that class. She's a great teacher, a great healer. As far as dark occult energies, harvesting and taking and raping and calling my work yours because you want to be seen for 5 minutes, you need to go and heal your sense of self because you got none. And it doesn't matter how many times you harvest, you still have to heal that wound. And it doesn't matter how many spells you get, you still got to heal that wound. And you're going to keep getting negative karma. You're going to keep getting negative karma until you heal it. So this is what I've been saying from day one. So now that I'm not going to be touched anymore, now I have all of my life force to manifest with, which is what I should have always had. It's my life force. It's for me to use, not you. So all those people in Calgary and the cult that is continually, even today, the cult is continually trying to scheme and plan and plot to see how they can throw me off course and break all my connections and break this and break that and get in to steal anything that's coming towards me before I even get it. So I'm still homeless and I still sit with nothing, but these people are still plotting and planning to see how they can go in and steal whatever it is that I might and me maybe get. This is how selfish and demonic these beings are. And that's how you can tell the operation and the energies they work from. They are not healed, which we said from day one 6 years ago. Please, everybody in the Calgary cult, go get healed. Because you are only calling more drama, more chaos, more detriment, more demise, more disease to who you are. And it will only land you in jail. When you're living from your entity, when you're living from your attachment, it will only get worse and worse. You must go heal. Spirit and my ancestors have shut all of you off. None of you will ever touch my heart, my soul. You will never touch anything of mine ever again. It doesn't matter how hard you try, you will be stopped at every way. Every time you try and get in a car and try and come for me, every time you try and send somebody to come and date me, every time you try and send anything to throw me off path, I will never get thrown off path. You don't write my life. As I told you before, it means nothing. Like little ants. Your tactics don't mean anything. These are being pulled off to the lower Epstein earth, and they can play with lower Epstein beings. We will rise above, and I get to play with who I get to play with. I will dance with who I dance with. I will create with how I create with, and I deserve to receive what I have fucking earned. Over 989 timelines. I have earned my place in creation. And at this very important part of ascension, there will be everybody and their dog, especially those that have called themselves family, because they've known you the most, and they know your wounds the most, and they know how you get sensitive the most. They'll throw everything they can at you to keep you off path and to keep you down and to keep you desperate or to keep you depressed. And they will send you girls and they will send you boys and they will send you whatever they can to tempt you and taunt you. Bad eating habits, crashes, things not going right, losing investments, losing your dream date, all of these things. They just love it when they can make you feel pain and loss. And they actually make videos on it. And then they sell it to the black web and exploit you on it. And this has been done to me too. This is how wonderful these people are. They just seek anything, and it's called masochism and sadism. And many of these satanic cults, and these are the minions of the shadow government, because they want to deconstruct you and make you feel as horrible as you can so that you sit where they sit. And they can forever feed off of you. And then you can become part of their pool. Like I said before, those are the ones that want to walk you off the cliff, because your soul is just a notch on their belt. That's all they care about. They want to feed off your soul, and they want numbers. They want numbers on their belts. That's all they care about. A master of my degree always teaches you to reclaim your power and reclaim your light and get to the core of where your wounds are and heal it, and then detach these demons and entities because you don't need them anymore. You can choose to create an alliance with light. This is your birthright, dear lighted ones. When you are breathed here in this universe, if you so choose, it is your soul's progression into evolution. You can evolve or you can move into entropy. It's up to you. What do you choose? Evolution is much more fun, isn't it? So therefore, you have to care about your life force. Who are you sharing with it and why? And how often are you sharing with it and why? Again, make higher standards. This is why I've chosen to be celibate for over 14 years. Because my life force matters to me. It matters how I play. And I'm going to choose who I'm going to play with and who I'm going to have in my company. And there ain't nobody that's going to touch me and put their willing anywhere near me. When they don't know who they are broken and bruised, and they are nowhere healed. No fucking way. And these cults and these covens and these handlers think that they're so smart that they're just going to send anybody by you, and they're going to put something in your drink so that you have no idea who you are, and you're losing all your senses. All of these are incredibly, not only are they spiritually illegal, they've crossed all spiritual boundaries and they've broken spiritual laws, but they're trying to get you inhibited so that you can go and be and do more easily, so that you don't have your senses about you, and you're going to release your life force to these little demons and devils. And they do this all the time. They can be grouped under romance schemes, and they can be grouped under sex cults, and they can be grouped under whatever they want, because their intention is to get your life force. And their intention is to ruin your union. Their intention is to make sure that you don't ever get into a happy union, so that you never feel happy again or given love again by the one person that God has ordained for you throughout all dimensions and throughout all galaxies. And this is where their minds are. This is where their energies are. They love it when you are suffering. And they will even make suffering videos, and they get paid for this on the black web. And they get paid for it by the government that wants to see you broken and deconstructed. And sometimes even sicker than this, they have shows, and they have little fake AI shows, and they have little fake shows where people are playing such characters and doppelgangers that look just like you. And then they throw you little obstacles, and they throw you little fake dates, and they throw you infected dates, and they throw you demonic dates, and they send you all of these people to deconstruct and destroy your life and delay you and derail you, and to see how you operate in and out of these tactical operations, as if you're in a military training session. That's how my life has felt. It's been illegal from day one, and it's corrupt as fuck. It makes you feel like you're a lab rat and you never get out of this fucking enslavement project that is human hunger, human hunting games. This is how it feels, and this is what these cults and covens do. And they'll send you obstacles and minions, and they'll send you tests and taunting, and they'll test you in every possible way to see how true are you to your sense of self and your spiritual self. Well, how about we just have a normal human conversation? How about that? But no, that doesn't take place. You're sent in a bombardment of cults and covens and voodooists and spellcasters and this and this and this, and you'll have a strange date show up that just seemingly wants to talk with you. Oh, how strange. You've just appeared out of nowhere and now you want to talk to me. Well, this is strange. This has never happened in the last 10 years. Well, let's just see who you are. Well, it's an infected person that's come to have sex with you to throw you off so that that next person that you meet, which is actually your soul partner, and that's going to throw your thing up because now you got to do healing on your STIs and your STDs because that person that's going to be your true partner is not going to want to sit with you and sleep with you. You got to go heal. You got to heal that energy that you just allowed back in your body. And most often than not, they'll come with attachments. That's how they burrow root work. That's how these people get you. These how these demons get you. And they will throw you off your righteous path. They will throw you off your light path. They will throw you off your higher path. And why I chose to stay celibate for 14 years. Because people that say they care about you to your face, and meanwhile they hide their secret sex life, they hide who they are in the underground, they hide. They do nothing but secrets and hiding. They don't give a shit about who you are, because if they did, they wouldn't lie to you. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Government. The shadow government has lied from day one and fabricated my life from day one. And then added on about another 187 different lies and different schemes and different plots and different plans, shuffling me off from here to there, and testing me from one end to the other to the other. There's been no permissions on any of it. I haven't signed anything, and I've survived it all. And then anybody has the balls to call me lazy, or to call me as if I'm not doing my job, or to call me as if I should be doing more, or to call me as if I'm crazy. How dare all of you? I shouldn't be here right now. And if I had any mind within myself for my highest and my best, I would have asked to leave a long time ago. Because I haven't received an ounce of respect or honor from anybody on the planet besides the ones that slowly donate to me in their own time and will, because it's all they can afford. And that's all that's keeping me alive right now are their donations. So anybody that has the balls to judge me when they have no idea what I move through in one day, in 1 hour, and you cannot see what I see, and you cannot feel what I feel, and you cannot know what I know. You don't know me at all. You're not awake on any level, and you're judgmental and mean. Go heal. I'm a conduit at a 5D level, moving into 5, 6, and 7D is what I can tap into. And I take downloads and I take information from the 13th dimensional source creator. And what I see and how I feel are more complex than any of you can ever know, because none of you are conduits. You can open up and you can practice, but that's where you're beginning. And I've been a conduit for my entire life. And these people have been doing everything they can to impale hate and worry and anxiety and poverty and disgusting things in my sacral energy, and for me never to have a voice, for me never to create, for me never to be loved, for me never to ever receive. How is it possible in the most degrading of experiences that somebody walks around with a feeling that it doesn't matter how hard I try and it doesn't matter how hard I work? These people are impaling beliefs upon me that it doesn't matter. I will never ever receive anything, because this is the hate that they have impaled from their lineage to my lineage. And it doesn't matter how hard they will try. They will hire anybody that they can hire to take me out. And this is why they have tried so very hard to make sure that I never ever receive what I was meant to receive a long time ago. Because that's how hateful they are within themselves. That they have cursed me to never receive an ounce of love, for me never to receive an ounce of food, for me never to receive an ounce of gratitude and respect from my collective. Just for me never to receive, because they were so filled with the entity of jealousy. They never ever thought that I could ever receive what God had deemed and what I had earned. And that is how bad envy and jealousy are. These are the demons of jealousy and envy. And this is how very sick it is. This is what creates sadism and masochism in the underground black market and the black web, through which they sell suffering and snuff videos in which they take pleasure in hurting people. Because they are taught and they are brainwashed that people that are good and people that are kind and people that are of light are so very different and they deserve to be punished. These people are actually taught and brainwashed these things, and they are used as weapons. How dangerous is that, dear lighted ones? And the authorities and the police and the governments do nothing about it. And they allow these people to continually walk around and spit danger and cancer into the cities and the communities through which they live. And why we have said, if you are in such cults and covens and shadow government, bring forward exactly who is directing you to bring such hate to your communities and incite hate. They are highly illegal. And God has in the highest books of karma those that incite danger and hate into the communities and warlike aggression will be of the highest and the most egregious and most grave to receive karma. Make no mistake, it doesn't matter your title, it doesn't matter your money. Because you have brought such harm and delay and derailment to the most sweetest and innocent hearts that have only been here to assist in clearing what you have created as such darkness and imbalance and entropy. So if you go into extinction, then what, dear lighted ones? What will your envy and your jealous and your money matter then? Your diseased little body that gets nowhere out of mud. It just stays there because that's what you've chosen. Out of your envy and your jealousy, you've chosen everybody to take the hate ride with you. How okay is that? So you just sit and hate for the rest of your life and karma the rest of your life. Or you could just let go of everything, stay out of everybody's business, and focus on loving yourself and healing. And then see how miraculous your life turns around. God will give everybody that opportunity. But you're not going to continually be entitled to abuse and take people out because you're so wounded. And the governments and the cities and the policing and the investigations better get on quick so that we can start new research and healing, and we can start bringing new laws in where these people that are going through psychosis and entity attachment can be dealt with immediately instead of taking out more lives that are innocent and that actually deserve to be here and lead the people. Who are you? Again, anybody has any right to say who I am and what I go through, and they judge me without any absolute knowing. I have never met anybody from the Calgary cult. I've never met anybody from the shadow government that thinks that they know anything about how to direct anything on my life and think they can handle me in any way. It's repulsive. Do you know how it feels to be a piece of meat in this Hunger Game through which everybody and their dog are coming at you, and everybody and their dog want to take you out, and everybody and their dog want a piece of you, and everybody and their dog want to feel what you feel like? Well, absolutely nobody's given anything to me. No respect, no honor, no hi, how are you doing? How's your day so far? How are you feeling with these new energies? How are you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? It's like a feeding game. You don't know in 1 minute how I feel. And you think you can handle my gifts and my skills. You have to be entrained, and you have to be initiated by the Most High, God. And God sees how you react and how you participate and how you respond in every situation. Dear lighted ones. So anybody thinking that I'm not meant to be on my post, take it up with God. You don't know what I see and you don't know what I feel. You don't know the dimensions I've been through. There is no light worker on this planet that has done and cleared what I have. There is no light worker on this planet that has seen what I have. And I come forward to teach it on a multidimensional level in which the galaxies sit in their classes and they listen and they move through classes with me. Through my multidimensional teachings, because I'm not only teaching those that so desire on this earthly plane, I'm in many universes, dear lighted ones, teaching in many different ways all at the same time. That's my consciousness and I can do that. What I don't appreciate is having to say the same thing a billion times over for what I'm owed a billion times long ago. There are a lot of people that owe me for the egregious things that have been done. And all I've asked is fair treatment. And I've received not 1 ounce of it. How hard is that? Nobody has a right to test me in any way. Nobody has a right to send minions for stalking, hacking, and spying in any way. Nobody has a right to set up cameras and watch me and study me in any way. Nobody has a right to put my name and image or my material or my books or my anything in any way without signing an agreement with me and that I get repayment. I haven't received a penny from anybody. I don't need to be taken care of. I don't need a power of attorney, and I don't need a conservatory. I'm 187 times more smarter and wiser than any of you if you were to put you in a room and those that judge and those that claim of such. And if we were to put you all in a room, I would be smarter 187 times more than each and every one of you put together. These are my capacities. But you know what? Wearing the crown makes the heavy head. Why? Because I feel and I sense it all. And I have to deal with that and I have to work through it. They're my gifts. Because with every benefit, there is also something I have to weigh on the opposite side, isn't there? But none of you know that. All of those that are working in jealousy and envy, and all those people that have come at me, and all those people that have stolen at me and raped me as for everything that I could be raped for. And you've done every defamation and every false accusation that you could to make yourself feel better. But you know what? You could never ever handle 1 download. Because if that's the level of energy you're working from, you would never be able to handle 1 download from the Divine Source Creator about what's coming for humanity. You just wouldn't. because all you're setting yourself within is jealousy and envy, and you just want people to look at you and love you. And it begins with you first. Again, for the billionth time. Stop focusing on everybody outside of you and go within and heal. Your wounds are within you, not anybody else. Nobody else is your issue. Your wounds are with you. Heal your jealousy, envy, and no sense of self. Create it. And get out of those cults and covens and brainwashing mess, because it will destroy you, as you're all seeing. I have my rights to be exactly who I am, and I will be. I am that I am. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Deep, beautiful breath. Deep, beautiful breath. Yanakata keshi, yanakata kesi, yanakata taka. Enamakata taka. Eshishi ama a. Takeshi shiamaka. Etenamakata takeshi, yanakata taka ama a. She nanakata taka. Reclaim your power, dear lighted ones. Reclaim your light. Reclaim all fragments and all energies, all light that returns to me now, please. All of my light return to me now, please. All light return to me now, please. All of my thoughts, words, and deeds return to me now, please. All that I am return to me now, please. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And ground. This is manifesting yourself in a divine, multi-vibrational way through which you walk through life and you know who you are. And you speak in life as you know who you are. As your name is, you are. Who are you? What are your stories? What's your uniqueness? What's your genuine authenticity? It doesn't matter what anybody else are doing. You can come forward and say, this is who I am. Why test me? Why don't you just speak with me? Why don't you just be with me for a little while? If I've navigated my way for 50 years, plus years, being hexed and sabotaged over 2,000 times and 50 sacrifices, and who knows what else, and surviving on absolutely nothing, sleeping outside when nobody gives a crap, do you not think that I can move through with whatever else you've got coming? Why don't you put things in a grander scale and look at everything from a scope, dear lighted ones? If I've survived thus far on absolutely nothing with no hands out reached out in front of me, except for a few people and Mother, Father, God, what do you think? If I've manifested a whole light body over and over and over again with the help of Mother, Father, Divine God, what do you think? Do you not think that I know how to navigate through the toughest of times? Why am I here? Because I've been through darkness and here I am in light. Because I've been through all shadows and here I am in light. Because I get to walk in shadow and dark and light and here I am. I understand higher order, dear lighted ones, and I understand the realms of all energy. I'm claiming my knowledge and my wisdom. And it would be nice if those that so desire that would like to collaborate or would like to talk and would like to communicate, that perhaps you just book a session on PayPal, like I've said for about since my very first video. And how about we perhaps just talk as humans? As opposed to sending tests and creating these falsities that don't need to be done, but putting more stress and anxiety on my already stressed and anxiety experience. How about that? How would you treat me with respect instead of a little test monkey that everybody has to stare at and study? Because I haven't given any permission to anybody. And yet my life here has been nothing but fabricated and lies. It'd be nice if that information came forward and I was given a little bit of peace. If anybody cares. Just a little bit of peace. I've asked for the same thing, haven't received anything. I want my birth information, period. I want dual passports, period. I'm a healer of all continents, period. I am the highest vibrating divine feminine, period, on this continent, and I can move through any dark energy, and I'm bringing it forward and I'm teaching it as I speak. Because I know who I am, I practice who I am. I don't pay lip service. I've been celibate, I'm not crazy, I don't take drugs. I don't sleep around, I don't party, I don't drink. Everything I've said is nothing but truth. So nobody has the right to come and test me, because everything I've said is truth. And if you want to know something about me, book a session. Talk to me like I'm a human and I'm a caring person that wants to care about you and give to you. I have nothing to hide, dear lighted ones. I'm here for the advancement of all evolution. All evolution. Future generations through which I'll be back again teaching as a master. And I'll pop in and out in my light ship. And I'll do whatever I want and I will go wherever I want based on Mother, Father, God and where they want me. Because that's my soul. I'm here to serve. I serve light. And it's been the same story. So how about everybody relax, get used to it. This is my post. I'm a teacher, I'm a healer, I'm a leader. Now let's get on with being light. How about that? And those that owe me, please work out a plan that you start owing me. Because I deserve to live in a beautiful world. So that I can feel safe and honored and clean. And I can move about the world healing as many people as possible. That's why I'm here. See, I know my job. It'd be nice if I was given in return, which I haven't been thus far. Return the monies that are owed to me that are in my name legally from the beginning of time till now. Shadow government, you know who you are. The minions that are paid on behalf of the shadow government, you know who you are. Nobody's had the right to use my name or images or work, period. You know who you are. You know the energy and the information from my bank, and you know my PayPal. That's how you can communicate with me, and that's respectful, please. Thank you. I don't do pop-ups, obviously. Thank you, dear lighted ones. She amamakataka. And so just in we're going to do a different video, and we're going to talk about the various systems of the body and your chakra systems and how they are going to connect with your clairs. Okay, and our multidimensional systems. If anybody wants an ascension session, a class, or a connection with your guides, or a connection with passed over loved ones, I'm also a medium. Anybody wants a session or appointment, please just book a session and give me a call. Oh yes, I also want to do a video about the brain, but my next video, probably tomorrow, will just go over a two-page channel I got with my diagram today on just some channel notes that Source gave me. Engineered science is going to go in a different arena. The internal source is going to work more closely with crystalline. We're going to start cognize and co-relate crystalline energy and how that's working within our multidimensional bodies, again, with the systems I talked about, the 13 systems and the 9 chakras. And the hybridization, which is going to activate a lot of our gifts and skills and talents, and why we're going to feel so much more celestial. And so I've been really feeling that the last 2 days. But I really have to ground. So all of these new celestial and alien energies, these heightened energies, grounding helps everything. And again, get near lots of water. You will be seeing what is in your human terms, more miracles take place because of the energy. Okay, so I have to go, dear lighted ones. I love you. My PayPal is paypal.me, Joanna /Joanna L Ross. Thank you. We love you.